What if I told you that the United States and Britain once almost went to war over a pig? It sounds ridiculous, but in 1859, tensions between American settlers and British authorities in the San Juan Islands escalated after one simple act: the shooting of a pig. What started as a minor argument over livestock soon became an international military standoff between two of the world's most powerful nations. But how did things spiral out of control so quickly? And why did this tiny island become the center of a territorial dispute that lasted for years? To understand the conflict, we need to go back to the Oregon Treaty of 1846. This agreement was meant to settle border disputes between the United States and Britain by dividing their territories in the Pacific Northwest. The treaty stated that the boundary would run through the middle of the channel, separating Vancouver Island and the mainland. But there was one problem: which channel? The treaty didn't clarify this, and as a result, both nations claimed ownership of the San Juan Islands. By the 1850s, the islands were home to both American settlers and British employees of the Hudson's Bay Company, a powerful British trading enterprise. The stage was set for conflict. The spark that ignited this border dispute came on June 15, 1859. An American settler named Lyman Cutler found a large black pig in his garden, eating his crops. This wasn't the first time the pig had wandered onto his land, and Cutler had had enough. The pig belonged to the Hudson's Bay Company, and when its owner, a British employee named Charles Griffin, demanded compensation, Cutler refused. The argument escalated quickly, with Cutler arguing that he had every right to protect his land, and Griffin insisting that British law applied on the island. Cutler's act soon became more than just a property dispute. When British authorities got involved, they threatened to arrest Cutler for destroying company property. The American settlers, fearing British control over the island, demanded U.S. military protection. This minor disagreement over a pig now had both nations involved. Soon, both the British and American governments were sending forces to the San Juan Islands. The first to arrive was Captain George Pickett, leading a force of American troops onto the island in July 1859. Pickett, who would later become famous for Pickett's charge at Gettysburg, boldly declared the island U.S. territory. The British responded by sending 3 warships to the island's waters. For weeks, both sides held their positions, refusing to back down. The situation grew more tense by the day. Would this really turn into an actual war? Despite the standoff, neither side wanted bloodshed. British Rear Admiral Robert L. Baines refused to use force, saying that it would be foolish to shed blood over a squabble about a pig. Meanwhile, U.S. officials worked behind the scenes to de-escalate the crisis. President James Buchanan sent General Winfield Scott to negotiate a peaceful resolution. After weeks of discussions, both nations agreed to reduce their military presence on the island. Joint occupation was established, with both American and British soldiers coexisting peacefully. For the next 12 years, British and American troops shared San Juan Island. Instead of hostility, the soldiers developed a friendly rivalry, often competing in games, celebrating holidays together, and even visiting each other's camps. No battles were ever fought, and not a single life was lost. This so-called war became one of the most unusual military standoffs in history. The joint occupation continued until 1872, when the matter was finally settled through international arbitration. The U.S. and Britain agreed to let Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany decide the fate of the islands. The Kaiser ruled in favor of the United States, and the San Juan Islands officially became part of Washington state. The British peacefully withdrew, and the conflict was finally over. The Pig War remains one of the strangest border disputes in history. While tensions were high, diplomacy ultimately won over warfare. The only casualty in this entire affair? One pig. It's a reminder that even the most ridiculous disputes can have serious consequences, but they don't always have to end in violence. Today, San Juan Island commemorates the Pig War with historic sites and monuments. Visitors can explore American camp and British camp, where troops once stood face to face. This bizarre moment in history is often remembered as a lesson in diplomacy, a conflict that could have turned into war, but instead became a tale of peace, negotiation, and shared humor. So what do you think? Could history have turned out differently if cooler heads hadn't prevailed? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more unbelievable moments in history.